They cut it. They didn't tell me, but they cut it. They cut it out of the episode. I didn't know they cut it.
No! You gotta find this.
Are you ready for
We got Dante the Don. The Don in the building, man. Looking good.
Thank you.
My man. I'm
Looking
happy to
slim.
see you are.
You got that fucking soup diet body.
I don't know, man. The fucking scale doesn't say I'm down that much, but if you're gonna call
No,
me,
you
I'll
look
take
good,
it.
man. You're looking good. You got the Nelly Band-Aid on. We're good to go.
I know.
I was honest to God when you agreed to come on the show, and I didn't want to ask, but I was like, he's not saying yes and he can't talk, right?
You got a little through the wire situation going.
No, thank God, because they told me before the surgery it was gonna be like a game time decision. I was either gonna wake up my jaw wired or not.
Oh my God,
Dude, what an awful thing to tell you.
Yeah, for real. Like, hey, it's gonna go fine,
the
but you might not be able
moment
to.
in your life. Like, just when you wake up, you might not be able to talk for a few months.
He was like, I don't think we're gonna need it. He was like, but I'll figure it out once I'm in there.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So I woke up and I immediately was like, oh, good.
Hey, your boy's got a jaw, apparently. Dude, what a fucking unbelievably horrible turn of events. So
Yeah.
it was just straight, like, random act of violence?
Yeah. So I got
For the people who don't know, give it a little.
Actually, so I got yelled at last week by the state's attorney because I said some stuff on. I posted
you're not
that
allowed to talk
picture
about any of
and
that shit, right?
I posted that picture and people were asking questions and I answered them, and he saw it and hit me up and was like, "Yo, you can't talk about anything."
Because it just, like, jeopardizes the...
detailed. Yeah. So I mean, this guy, I will say.
Well, then don't... I mean, if you can't, you can't. But.
I mean, he had 24 prior arrests on his record.
24?
Yeah.
I just put up numbers.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. And he's still out on the streets somehow to, like, do this. And it's because he, like, fights the system. People don't testify. People drop charges. And
You're gonna show up fucking...
yeah, they were like, are you
yeah.
going to participate? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, well, you're in Chicago. Are you going to, like, come back
Where
for
was
all
it?
the hearings?
Providence, right?
It was in Providence. I was like, yeah, I will be at every
Hell yeah.
fucking hearing.
Yeah, man.
So they're like, all right, good. That we might actually be able to, like, prosecute then. So,
Dude, my sister got, like, a similar situation when she was in college in D.C. And she just got, like... Well, I mean, she didn't catch it like you did, but, like, some guy was getting arrested in a bar, and he ran out, and, like, in order to, like, cause a melee, instead of, like, flipping the chair, he just fucking smoked her in the face.
Jesus
And, like,
Christ.
she, like... Again, it wasn't anything like you. It wasn't all... But she went to the hospital, needed stitches and stuff like that. And my dad was going to the hearing when he was being tried. He was found guilty. And he showed up to the courthouse and he had to go through, like, the x-ray machine and all that stuff. And he was just going down for a day trip, but he had gone, like, he's like, I got to exercise and all that stuff. So he had brought a jump rope. And they were going through the courthouse security. And they're like, what are you going to do with this? He's like, it's a jump rope. And they're like, what's it used for? He's like,
Jumping
to
it.
jump rope.
I jump over it.
And they were, I don't think they let him bring it through. They thought he was going to strangle the guy with it.
I wouldn't.
that's
I
like
wouldn't
one
be
of the
surprised
most
if you
random. That's like one of the most random fucking things you could possibly try to bring through security. I would think something too. I'd be like, I don't know what, but this guy's going to do something with
These are the
this.
longest nunchucks I've ever seen.
Or someone else is bringing something that connects to that. And they're gonna do some shit. Of course,
So-
your dad would bring a jump rope.
Yeah.
But so this dude just no connection. Just like it could have been you, it could have been me, could have been him, could have been her. Like
Yeah,
whoever
man,
was
it's
in that place at that moment was going to
Kind
be
of,
clocked.
it's kind of scary when you think about that
I
part
mean,
of it.
it's like the knockout game. Remember when that was viral? Where people just getting fucking sucker punched left and right
Yeah.
just because like kids wanted to go viral.
And I mean, I literally, the last thing I remembered was, so my friends opened this bar. It's like right on Brown's campus, which Providence, like fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like beautiful area.
Yeah, I would not have expected this to happen in Providence.
Down the
or
street,
Holland.
down the street from Hemingway's.
It's not a great spot because I've had a friend who was stalked leaving it as well.
All right, so we'll cross that off the list.
Tell me this now.
I told you this. I was texting you that night. I was like, yo, like someone followed them from Providence to Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they had to get up the highway and the cops were waiting.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
I was
right.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Wait, that was same area?
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Shit.
So maybe it's a bad place.
Fuck.
Steer clear of this spot. Tell your buddy to build a bar in a different spot.
So they wanted me to play. I went and played. Awesome fucking night. Great time. Was going to Boston the next day, and was supposed to have breakfast with my uncle who lives up in Wayland. And I woke up, and I'm in the fucking I'm on a stretcher in the hospital. I'm like, same clothes as last night.
Jesus Christ.
Covered in blood. And I'm like, I must have gotten a car accident. So I'm like waiting for the nurse.
Bro, that's crazy.
Finally, a nurse comes in. He's like, oh, you're awake. I was like, yeah. Did I get in a car accident? And he starts like laughing. He's like, you think you got in a car accident? I'm like, yeah. Why am I here? He's like, you don't remember anything about how you got here?
Were you drunk? Like, I had a few drinks.
Not bad. And when the bar closed down, so I ordered an Uber. And it said it was 15 minutes away. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to go outside. I'm going to wait. And everyone's like, staff's doing staff drinks and all that. But I was like, no, I'm good. I got to wake up early. I got to go meet my uncle. Yeah. So I was good. I wasn't sober, but I wasn't like fucking
sloppy,
hammered.
Yeah.
But Uber says it's like 3 minutes away. And I go outside. And then next thing I remember, I woke up in the hospital.
Dude, the wake up and like, you know, like, I don't know where I am is like, I mean, I only think about that in like movies, you know what I mean? Because you think like, you know, I don't know, you saw the guy at one second before he hit you or something precipitates it, but to just be like, I was walking out the door and then next thing you know, it's like to go from here to here in the hospital.
I was walking to the car and he came up behind me, hit me, knocked me out. I don't know.
Nobody knows really.
There's 2 videos. I haven't watched the worst video because I'm afraid I'm gonna like puke everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Can we see it?
But they were like, yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Jesus
Dude,
Christ. What is this, like security video?
Yeah, so there's a restaurant across the street that had video, like straight on, and then the bar I was at had video that was like through the door.
Man.
Dude,
so I woke up and I was like, I got to get out of here. I was like, I got to check out of my hotel and get up to Wayland. I got to go to breakfast with my uncle. And the guy's like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, bro. You kidding
I was
me?
like, why? I feel fine. He's like, you go look in the mirror. And he like got me up.
So you didn't even realize.
I was woozy. I was on fucking morphine or something. So I felt fine. And he walked me to the bathroom and I turned on the light and I saw that was a picture. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, oh my God. And then I realized like I only have one eye open. Fucking faces out to here. I'm like mumbling. I'm like, oh man.
Did you lose teeth?
This is like the most weird thing. So my wisdom teeth never got removed, and my fucking back wisdom tooth cracked and like popped up through the gum. So
dude,
yanked that
got
out.
knocked so hard you got your wisdom teeth in. Holy shit!
How are all these?
I know. I know.
Still there. Like I'm so lucky. Like so fucking lucky.
Do you know if you hit the ground hard too? I always worry about that too. You get hit and then you like hit the concrete.
Dude, that's like why like I'm seriously like I know people are like, you know, I'm lucky. It could have been so much worse. This could have been fucking
way worse.
So much worse.
I mean, I didn't think you were going to look like this. I thought you were still going to be
I had a kid who worked at my bar in Chicago right before Christmas, was going home up his stairs one night, slipped on ice, fell, smashed his head. They drilled holes in his head to relieve the brain pressure, and you know they were like, he's going to be all right, but you know he's going to be different because his brain's altered.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later he died.
Oh shit!
Just from hitting his head wrong, and I'm like,
yeah,
you
fall,
you
you
break
break
your
your
head
neck,
a lot of
you
times.
smash my head on the ground.
Yeah.
Smash my head how many times with a fist?
I mean,
like,
it's crazy how dangerous that can be, but also the other side of it, like if as you know, as long as something doesn't go tragically wrong, your body's like, all right, we got this. A few days of this, a few weeks of that, and like you'll be back on your feet. Do you feel any like lingering effects?
no,
Ringing or memory or anything like that?
Just my jaw's like numb as shit. I have plates in it, so it's like the feeling hasn't come back. They said it's gonna. They said the nerves will like reconnect.
Yeah.
So this is all still numb. Rest of my face I can feel now. The swelling's way down. I just been icing like crazy.
Bro, you got a skinnier face than I do.
Yeah.
Ice is. I can
It is crazy
tell
how
I'm still
ice is
puffed up.
like
It's the best.
It's like magic. When everyone's like, put ice on it, it's like fucking
It's seriously,
put ice on it.
It's seriously the best.
Yeah.
They told me, they were like, if you can put ice on
Like every day.
as much as possible,
Yeah.
do it. And I've literally just, anytime I'm sitting on the couch or like not out and about, I just have an ice pack on on my face.
Dude, Providence has been one of those cities for like 25 years. They've been saying like it's an up and coming city. It's an up and coming city, and it really hasn't.
It's
changed.
not coming. Dude, it's not up.
I had a buddy in college. I had a couple buddies who went to PC. I had one buddy who was walking home one night talking to his dad, who's a cop, and he just got smashed over the head with a cinder block. And the guy
For no reason.
yeah, they stole his phone. It was 07, so like it wasn't even
iPhone.
like I think it was a BlackBerry or something like that. And they took his phone and they didn't hang up on his dad. They were just like, "Fuck you, it's my phone now." And then that same kid rode his bike he was at PC, and there's a CVS down by fucking, I forget, one of the bars over there. And he rode his bike to CVS and came back out, and some dude was just carrying his bike away. And he's like, "Yo, that's my bike." And the guy went, "No, it's not." And just kept carrying the bike. Like, you could have ridden it much faster. Just carried it. "No, it's not." And he's like, "Yeah, he's probably right. It's not my bike anymore."
It belongs to you. Not worth it. Not worth it, man.
I mean, my boys that went to PC, that was not a great area, and shit used to be like bad up there.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's changed all that much.
I would always walk around like head on a swivel up there, but fucking that brown area is not bad at all. And
I knew a kid at Providence. I think it was his freshman year. Him and his friends just threw piss all over each other.
For why?
Because it's funny, dude. Ask him
Why
why.
is this fucking loser?
Bro, by the way, the Great Providence Piss Fight of 2006, they call it. They just started pissing on each other.
By the
animals.
My buddy who was with us this weekend,
Yeah.
who we called on the show,
Yeah.
he had forgotten. He was like, that was the first night we met.
Yes. Yeah. They all met, like hanging out, like new college kids, whatever. And they all piss on each other.
You're the worst.
They just got, like,
Bro, I'm not the worst. I'll tell you what.
You're the fucking worst.
You're gonna tell you what he texted me?
No,
His
what?
first text. So when this happened, this is also very fucked up.
Bro, what did he say?
Listen, this happened, and one of the fucking thoughts in the back of my head was, fuck, when Feitelberg finds out about this, he's gonna give me so much shit.
I don't know if it's because of the Blackout tour and you guys were just together for so long. When he like heard the story, he was like, "Oh shit!"
He's the worst
I'm like
person ever.
looking at his face. I was like, "Yo, Dante's like almost dead," and John's like,
I'd already talked to you at that point.
He's the worst person ever. So I'm like, fuck. And Gaz. I'm like,
Yes.
fucking, they're probably coordinating what they're going to send me. Like,
the memes and the pictures and
I'm like, I wonder if they're going to send it like immediately or wait and make sure that like I'm going to live.
That's how you
and then
know.
send it.
That's how you know your boys. Even when it's a life-threatening altercation, you get a fucking meme.
So I forget what it was. I think it was like 2 nights later. I'm at my mom's on the couch, fucking ice pack, and I see his name pop up on the phone. I'm like, fuck. Open it up. It just says Providence, stand up. All these exclamation marks. I'm like, I start laughing. My mom's like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, nothing. Nothing. And
If you can't
it made
laugh
me
about
no,
things
it made me laugh. I was like, I was waiting for this.
Dude,
I told him I could go. Actually, I don't know if I told you this. I did tell you like what I can. This is the first time where I can have like a real Mark Wahlberg on 9/11 moment. I'm like, wouldn't it happen if I was there?
I mean, you guys famously fought off like a whole fucking fraternity on the Blackout tour. Got to save the laptop. Yeah. And all it takes is one asshole in Providence. You got old, bro. Father Time caught up with you.
I know he doesn't believe me, but I still feel so. That picture will pop up on Twitter.
Which
you
one? Of
and
him and Gaz, the
just
black-eyed?
fucking
Yeah.
mangled.
Yeah.
And I'll see it, And I don't laugh like you laugh, but I'll be like, fuck, man. I still feel so guilty about all that.
Why?
Dude, because it was like the most, like, that could have been avoided so easily.
Dante was just following two kids, drunk kids with camera, making fun of them.
No.
Yes,
No.
I didn't know that.
Oh, it's all Dante's fault.
I thought you guys just got jumped. It's
no,
your
no,
fault?
Dante
No.
instigated it.
No.
Now it's making more sense. Now all of this is making more sense.
These two kids were walking home, like, fighting.
Oh, yeah.
And we were following them because we were going to our hotel, which was on the same street. And we were like chirping them. And at some point, I think when we got in front of their fucking frat house, they decided like, we're not going to fight.
We're on the same team.
Yeah, we're not going to fight each other anymore. We're going to fight these guys. So they turn around and come after me, grab my backpack, which my life is in there.
Yeah.
And then him and Gaz came to the rescue, but they got fucking... I mean, you fucked up the kids more than you got fucked up.
Which is saying a lot because if you see two guys who look like that, it's like they lost the fight.
Right.
You know, not like you should see the other guys.
I felt so bad.
Dude, that was
from
one
that.
of the funnest nights I've had in a decade.
You're a psychopath. Fucking psychopath.
Dude,
they came back to
needs
the
it.
hotel. Our production guys were like horrified.
I'm sure.
Remember, they were all fucking in the pool area.
Yeah.
With bunch of skanks, and then Gaz and John come in, and they were just like, "Oh my god!"
We were.
Like,
It was like American Horror Story. We were dripping blood, laughing our asses off.
Well, that's
not.
I mean,
it was Americans like
usually like most fights last one punch and a scuffle. Maybe somebody gets a nose busted up. Maybe you get a black eye. To be in like a fight, like multiple guys, and to walk away looking like
a girl.
many girls.
Yeah,
dude,
I didn't fight any of the girls, but I was throwing them off my back.
I swear, I would give anything for
Dude, I'm
footage of that
telling
fight.
you, it was like a video, like fucking Double Dragon, where guys just keep coming out. Like, you throw one kid off, and like another one would come out. They just kept coming.
Yo, good for you guys, though. I mean, you beat up a whole frat, basically. Like, you took a couple lumps, but like...
best. Like 6 ambulances came. Weren't for us.
But that shit is...
Call an ambulance.
I've gone back to Miami, Ohio, and I've fucking had in the back of my head, like, I gotta be fucking careful of this fucking frat. They could still...
They got your pictures on the wall.
If I walked by that street, I would remember it. Like, it's...
I'm sure you would.
It's right... Dude, it's right on the street. It's not Best Western anymore. It changed.
Oh, really?
But it's the same hotel, and the house is like half a block up. I fucking have seen it 10 times. And I'm terrified.
Has anybody... Do you know the frat?
No, I don't want any beef with them.
No, I don't want...
Come get some, boys!
I feel like the frat now would be like almost apologetic, but it would just be funny to hear from one. I bet you there's got to be some of those kids who know that, yeah, we fucking beat up Feitelberg and Gaz and Dante.
Hang on a second.
We fought. Yeah, we got beat up by Feitelberg, Gaz, and Dante. Like, it was... You were at the Blackout tour. It was the peak of Barstool College. You're on campus doing an event for them. Like maybe they didn't know in that moment, but after the fact, they have to know. And nobody has ever said a word. Because Francis has a story about him. He got beat up by a lobsterman in Maine. He got the shit kicked out of him.
We were just talking about that.
And the guy found him on Facebook, and he was like, "That was me. I'm sorry." All this shit. Enough time has gone by that I thought somebody maybe would speak up or whatever, but. Those little pricks are taking it to the grave. I guess if I got beat up too, if they decidedly won the fight, maybe. But if it was 10-on-3 and we lost, it'd be like we're never talking about this again.
My only very clear memory from that fight is still I was on top of a guy. And then, there was a girl, choking me over my back.
They were the worst. Yeah.
A little flip over.
Dude, the girls were vicious.
Yeah, I bet.
But I was like this, right? And I had, a hand up. And, as I came like this, I saw someone coming. And I just like in my head I was like, he's
This is
gonna
gonna
kick me
hurt.
in the face
Yeah.
so fucking hard, and he fucking punted me, dude.
Bro, he's sick. I know. He loves
What
this
is
shit.
wrong
I was
with
just
you?
gonna say, like
What's wrong with you?
when YP used to work here, they would wrestle every day, and it's almost like a dog or like a caveman or something that like has the testosterone that you have to like get it out, or otherwise like you go crazy, and he needs that. And it's back then. Now he's like calm. Back then, I'm sure it was like looking for it every chance he got. He's a sick fuck.
I'm more anti-fight than I've ever been. I've been anti-fight for a long time. I think you hit an age where you're just
It's
like,
so stupid, dude. It's stupid to be the aggressor. Like it sucks to get beat up,
Yeah, it's just-
but
the
you're
age when you
risking
start-
like your life
whole
if you
thing.
get caught, and
Exactly.
if you know, and let's say it is just a bar fight, but like I know a guy who in a bar fight a pint glass shattered and somehow slit his throat and he
Dude,
fucking died.
there's
and
so
like
much-
now all of a sudden you have a manslaughter case or a fucking murder case, whatever.
Plus,
It's
like you don't. The people are fucking crazy today.
we don't know
Like,
who's
you
an
don't know-
MMA fighter. We don't know who's fucking bipolar. We
You don't know if they have a knife on them.
Right,
You don't know
right.
if they're going to wait outside with a gun. Like
Right.
crazy. It's just like the risk
Everything's
versus
so
reward
polarized.
is so.
There's
Oh, you know what?
literally no reward other than
No,
like
none.
you wronged me, you crossed me, and I like won the fight. It's like,
so
who
stupid.
cares?
So, like sitting in a hospital, sitting there like with your thoughts, trying to be like, why the fuck did somebody do this to me? Like some fucked up shit goes through your head, and I'm not gonna lie, thinking like, man, this is because I caused John and Paul. To
Oh,
get
you had
the
some
shit.
karma shit in your head?
John, yeah, of course I had karma in my head. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why would somebody do this
How
to
many
somebody
bracelets
for
I
no
wear? Of
reason?
course, I was thinking of karma.
I'm serious, but like,
No, bro, that's just a fucking asshole, a dirtbag, scumbag, prick who.
but like,
I've been
all
working a
but
voodoo
all right,
doll
take
every
my
night
phone,
for a decade to finally
take
work.
my phone, take my watch,
Yeah.
take my fucking
Yeah, what did they
take my
take? They didn't take
computer.
anything?
Dude, nothing.
they
It
just,
was
that's
honestly
what I mean. That guy
shit.
just wanted blood. Like
I recognize
he's high.
the necklace.
He's high on drugs. He's whatever it is. 24 priors.
It's
Clearly,
like the
fucking whacked.
detectives were like, did you like say anything to this guy? I was like, never fucking saw him in my life. Never
Yeah,
spoke to him.
that's actually the
They're like,
craziest.
They were like, did he have a girlfriend or something? No clue.
Like it's one thing. Like I said, usually you at least see the person, like even if it's for a second beforehand. So like right now, put out a lineup, you wouldn't know.
They showed me him on
Well,
the
now-
video.
I mean, now you
and
might, but
they
like,
showed
yeah.
me him on the video. I had no recollection. of him.
Like you have no
No.
connection. Never seen him. Never nothing.
no.
And he almost kills you.
That's why I'm like,
It's
thank
crazy.
God they got him on video, and thank God the bar security knew who he was and could identify him, because they arrested him like 5 days later
I also saw some people
in Coventry.
some
Really?
some people were DMing you like that they were there and like saw it
Yeah,
happen.
dude,
and shit.
that was a wild DM. Like I saw it, but I just honked.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just keep that one to yourself.
That guy was crazy. He was like, I hope you don't like hold it against me. Yeah.
You know what's nuts is there was a homeless guy across the street who came running over screaming like a madman. I'm convinced it was like a guardian angel or something.
Really?
Because they were like these girls that were there that started banging on the door for security. They got security's attention, and this homeless guy.
But it was just
Came
like
running over.
one. Oh, we don't know.
Oh no, he was like.
Oh, he was wailing on you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a one punch
Yeah.
sort of. I was like, I
it
thought
was
he
a
did
one
that
punch
much
until
damage.
I read that DM. and
So
I was
they
like,
saw
oh,
my
he was-
they saw my scan,
damn.
and there were 9 like fractures they saw in the scan. And when the doctor, he like cut me open on the inside of my mouth. I have all these.
I was gonna say you look great for this.
Yeah.
Dude, I got mouthful. Of
I'm
stitches.
sure. I'm sure.
And he cut me in there, and then went through and like opened everything up. And he was like, "You had way more cracks than were on the scan." He was like, "That's why it took an extra hour." But he's like, "I cleaned up all these bone fragments."
Yeah, you got to suck all that shit out and stuff.
Yeah,
whatever.
dude, I felt so. When I woke up, it felt so much better. I was telling Francis, I think one of the like benefits of this whole thing is I think my nose was so fucked
That
up.
happened to him too.
He said it was the opposite.
Well, yeah.
He fucking made me laugh my ass off with the like whole Coke thing.
story. Yeah. He's like, it didn't work.
Yeah. He's like, why isn't this working? I was like, dude, I'm the opposite. I came out of it and was like, oh my God, I can breathe. Never breathed like this before.
Did you have anything wrong with your nose? Like
yeah,
had you broken it and shit?
Million knees.
I mean, you got that beak. It was sticking out there,
I had a
swinging
bump
around.
here that's not here anymore.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah,
you get a little
amazing.
Yeah.
Like fucking free rhinoplasty.
Right.
I was gonna say, you know,
hang on Providence more.
So you're looking a little, you got a nice little jawline going, looking a little better. Imagine that
nose
you're
job and a soup diet. Summer of Dante's coming.
The soup diet sucks.
I bet, man. Are you like? I mean,
sucks.
can you chew now? Like, is it?
I can chew like
little
carrots
things?
and chicken soup, but I tried the other night. My fucking surgeon gets so mad.
Like bread? Like you
I tried
a hero? You
a
fucking
real
guinea.
fucking thin piece of pizza, and just like the tension, not good. You feel it like up here and shit. So I'm not gonna fuck with it.
That was why I asked for your address, by the way. You got some nice Portuguese soups coming your way.
Really?
See, cares more than anybody.
It was mostly my dad, but
By the way, this nicest guy on the planet.
John's dad,
Nicest guy on the planet.
the best.
I'm going through voicemails. He left me a voicemail like a week ago at 7 a.m. First off, bold, thinking he was going to get me on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m.
when I'm like
He left
in a
me
coma.
He left me the most like sincere, like nice fucking message. Like
He's a good dude.
if he can do
we don't know what
anything
happened
for
to
me,
John, but
no, he's always just been class. But thank him for. I felt guilty because I was like, fuck, this is 5 days later. Like I can't send him a text like, hey,
I'm
thanks
sure
for your
I'm sure
voicemail.
it's been blowing up ever since it was.
It's been like one of those things that redeems your faith in
People,
humanity,
yeah.
and at the same time, like
That's how you view it. I view it as a fucking scumbag who can do this to anybody. Is like, goddamn, this planet is awful.
yeah, but like
But I guess more people have been good to you than
dude,
not,
the
so.
detectives and the police have been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The people that all witnessed it all gave statements and were like, yeah, we're like gonna testify. The police were like, worried that they're gonna change their mind or whatever.
Like, what is this guy like a fucking? I guess we can't talk about it, but it's like you said in other cases, people have like, not testified. It's like, what are we talking about? Tony Soprano here? What's going on?
Just like I guess I don't know.
It is crazy though. It's like, what does it take to fucking put somebody away? Where it's like, I actually do understand something like this, where someone like almost died. It's one thing, but like if I witnessed a crime of some sort where there really wasn't like, let's say it was a money like white collar, and you're telling me like if I testify, it's gonna be a problem for like me and my family. I'd probably be like, oh, I don't know, I got to think about that. Something like this. It's like you're really a piece of shit if you saw it and just refused to. But it's like, what does it take to just put someone away and make sure that you don't have to be afraid to testify?
That's what's kind of like frustrating and shocking is like you see somebody with that big of a rap sheet and you're like,
How you out on the street?
Well, when we had Cameron on, I Cameron kind of explained it, and I like got it. Where Cameron was like, he's like, look, you're in the neighborhood, you know the person, you can't promise me you're putting him in jail,
Right.
So
Right.
like, why am I risking?
And then
my
I have
family?
to see him.
Right. I don't know how good you are at your job. If
Right.
you're great at your job, I'll
Maybe.
back you up.
Yeah.
Most people aren't very good at their jobs.
Right. By the way, Cameron, awesome.
dude, I was so
awesome.
fucking mad.
He was awesome, dude.
I'm so mad you had him on.
It was like
I am obsessed with that Instagram account.
that.
No.
He is a very. Did you see his video about Spike Lee?
No.
Oh, it was so good. It was
He-
right after the Knicks got eliminated, or maybe not when they got eliminated, but when they like got their dicks kicked in Game 4 or 5. It's him at gunpoint. A guy has like his hood up over his head, and he's like a hostage, and he's reading the note, and he's like. Okay. And it's like from the hostage is making the victim read. He's like, "Dear Spike Lee, like you are not welcome at the Garden anymore." and like he says something like, "Ever since you've been there, all you do is kiss celebrities' ass." And the guy nudges him and goes, "Pause, say pause." And Cameron's like, "Pause. You've been kissing guys' asses. Pause." It is so fucking funny. And I was thinking to myself, it's one thing to what he's doing. with Mace is kind of like just podcasting in a way. It's just like busting balls and talking. That's like a skit. Like he was like, oh, let's do this thing. Like let's write a letter to Spike Lee and you're the I'm Ransom and all that shit. Like that is, you know, you can say he's like this rough and tough street rapper or whatever. At the end of the day, he's like a comedy nerd being like, okay, and then we'll do the pause thing. You know what I mean? Like he's smart about it. He's fucking hilarious.
Trolling the shit out of Jordan Poole. Like
trolling. No, everybody can get it, dude. You like if you are in the world of sports or music right now, like don't fuck up.
So where did he say this whole podcast came from?
So
it's the best idea I've seen in a long time. Whoever convinced him and Mace.
Yeah, he was just like people. I think he was just like people have always told me like, you know, we're funny. We knew we were funny. I don't know if he really gave a specific.
No.
I think he was kind of just like me and Mace made amends and like we just decided to do it. I think it was one of those like I've seen other people in the space like making money and doing it, and like we know we could do it, so we said fuck it, let's go.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean dude, watching him interact with John was so funny because there's been a couple times, and actually I don't think I've said this to you, but I feel like there was a couple times where there were rappers that were like on our list of like doing promo, and I was like, I don't know, it's probably not a great fit for KFC Radio, and I know John doesn't really listen to that music, so like we'll pass. And now I'm like, let's get all the rappers because watching John and Cameron together was fucking hilarious.
Fish out of water,
dude. It was like both of them were like they were both like awkward, but it was like perfect when Cameron was talking about music and touring and stuff, and he was like, you know, I mean, it's like look at Bruce Springsteen. How old is he? He's still touring. And John goes 73, and Cameron's like, yeah, you know, it was more of a rhetorical question, but
Bruce, how old is Bruce Springsteen?
73.
Hey, is he on tour? He's gonna be on tour.
I know that Cons tweeted the other day.
Okay,
I
73,
know.
bro.
You knew that off the bat. That's crazy.
I'm not anti-Bruce. I'm just not that big a Bruce fan.
The crazy shit that the question was rhetorical, but okay.
I just meant that he was old, dude. That was the funniest. That's good that you knew that, but it was more of a rhetorical thing. So fucking good. He is gonna just take the world by fucking storm. Like if people think that Nori is funny and they like that, and Joe Budden, like Cameron is another level when it comes to like talking shit and making fun of people.
Dude, whole other level, and a whole other level of like talent too.
Oh yeah. People, like, he doesn't get his due, but like he's got records. They had influence. Dipset was like a movement that I think kind of gets a little like disrespected. He's
monster.
He said on his Funk Flex freestyle, he was like, this was like a few years ago. He was like, I'll go on Nori's show and like Funk Flex and everybody else. It's $185,000 an appearance. And then I think it's the only podcast he's done was our show, which is just ridiculous to be like joking around like that.
I know, dude. I saw you post that picture and I was like, what the fuck is this about?
As much as it's like, I think he's very cool and was happy to do it, I think he also is just like, I'm going to use these white people and get a bunch of money like Wallow and Gilly did. So I get it, but it was very cool to have that happen.
No, it's fucking.
I mean, for like our age, like that era of music. Oh, so now I'm like, let's go get everybody. If we could do rap, KFC Radio could be the rap show.
He was literally the bridge between Jay-Z and Kanye.
Yeah,
like it was Cameron for like.
How about him deleting that "Oh Boy" verse? That is crazy.
I know that was an awesome story you got.
He just fucking he like literally because I was like, no producer, engineer, whoever is gonna like delete that. You know, they'll be like, okay, yeah, we're not gonna put it out or whatever, but we're not deleting it. But the fact that he was like, put it in the trash is crazy.
I know.
That's some spite.
So where did you hear that story originally?
Where did I hear
you
it?
asked that?
I think I was just like Googling him before the I think I wanted to talk to him about I wanted to see if I could talk to him about his beef with Jay-Z. I wanted to get something out of him like that. And in my experience, talking to rappers about anybody they have problems with is apparently too touchy. So I was like, how am I going to like casually bring this up in a way? And then I think I just kind of stumbled upon that because I hadn't known that until
I didn't.
Yeah,
dude, you like broke that story.
Yeah, I mean, it was already out there, but it definitely was not like.
No,
popular.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
that's why.
The way he said it, there's a scene in a show or movie that is like very similar to the way he said it. When he's just like, I know the internet was good.
Yeah. I was like, why'd you do that? I didn't know the internet.
I didn't know. Fuck, dude. Like, it's. I didn't. It's Good Will Hunting.
When he says
when fucking Matt Damon is asking Robin Williams, like, he's like, you went to the game? He's like, no, I didn't go to the game. I hung out with the girl. And then Matt Damon's like, would have been pretty sick to be at that game. He goes, I didn't know Fist was going to go yard.
Yeah.
I didn't know Punch was going to go deep, whatever he says.
That's great. Yeah, man. I mean, that was a bucket list that I didn't even know was ever going to be possible. You know what I mean? I'm like,
you're going to have to re-up with him again, like somewhere down the line. You can tell. I mean, it's awesome that you kind of gave him a little pub like that and develop that relationship, because you can tell that show is like so in its infancy,
dude.
Like I don't even know if they have 100,000 followers on it.
It was so. When I heard when the headline was Cameron challenges Mario Chalmers to 1-on-1, I was just like, where, how, what? And then I went. Then I saw like an article that said the podcast. So I went on like Apple, like audio podcast, and I'm searching for it. I think they just put it on YouTube. So I was like, what? And it was on episode like 4. I was like, this shit just started. So yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna take over the whole fucking game.
HelloFresh. HelloFresh is here. They are always here with us. Flavor is in full bloom at HelloFresh. Enjoy the taste of spring with chef-crafted recipes featuring ripe, seasonal ingredients delivered right to your door. I actually skipped my meals this week. I feel very guilty. I feel like I'm cheating on HelloFresh, but I am going to Amsterdam. Going back. Not going with Bert this time, going with my mother. However, I feel bad that I will be missing out on my HelloFresh, because HelloFresh does more than just delicious dinners. Not only can you take your pick from 40 weekly recipes, but you can choose from over 100 items to round out your order, from snacks and easy lunches to desserts and party necessities. Everything arrives in one box on a delivery day that you choose. On a Monday guy, I like to start my week with my HelloFresh. Some people, who knows, maybe you're a Wednesday guy. Maybe you're a Friday guy. That's kind of crazy, but you are what you are. No more scouring the grocery store. It is also, by the way, I was doing the math the other day. It's crazy how much money I save with HelloFresh. I spend like $100 a week on groceries, the whole week in New York City. That's insanity. Check save money off your growing to-do. This I didn't even know this was coming. Check save money off your growing to-do list with the help of HelloFresh. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than takeout. If you do takeout like me, it's like 1,000% cheaper than takeout. No worries if you're a pro in the kitchen. HelloFresh is foolproof. No worries if you're not a pro in the kitchen. HelloFresh's foolproof recipes and arrive pre-portioned and easy to prepare in just a few steps. Go to HelloFresh.com/KFC16 and use code KFC16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. Those meals are doubled, by the way. When you make one meal, you're making 2. So that's 32 free meals plus free shipping. Go to HelloFresh.com/KFC16. Use code KFC16. 16 free meals. It's actually 32.
But I mean, so you've been doing the backstage stuff for a while, but also have just become like one of the main bloggers, one of the main like consistent writers on the site now, which I don't think I realized you had in you. Like, I mean, you write like longer form and like dig into shit. And
well, I mean,
Lori Lightfoot has fucking nightmares about you at night, dude. Chicago politicians, watch out! The Don is coming for that ass.
She rode off into the sunset.
Bro, if there's ever an example of don't get into politics, it's her before and after.
Dude.
You know, when they're like, look how like much the president ages you, it's like, okay, he got like gray hair. Lori Lightfoot went from like a woman to like a,
isn't that
like
crazy?
A creature.
I sent that to Spider like 2 years ago, that before and after. He is convinced it's photoshopped.
Yeah,
I pulled it off like a meme thing. I'm like, no, dude.
That's just her.
That's her law firm shot.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
Dude, I've said before in your blogs, I just love like the two wolves inside you. where it's like there's one DJ Dante and like party.
The party,
there's the guy who's just fucking storming around his apartment angry about local politics. Like, what do Lori do? You got it! Up the BPMs!
It really, I did not know that side of you at all. Even like the conspiracy theories and all that shit. It's just like you're there at the club till like 4 a.m. but in the back of your mind you're like, I really think the aliens built those pyramids, bro. There's just no other explanation for it. Yeah, another round of Red Bull vodka. Let's go. Get a bottle of Ace of Spades. Let me tell you about the fucking why Stonehenge is there.
You're like simultaneously like a 26-year-old in Ibiza and also a 70-year-old man on Facebook. It's the best.
It really is so true. It's so true. You're like your uncle on Facebook. You really are. It makes for a good blog, though. I mean,
no, it's been. I mean, guys such as yourself left a pretty huge void, you know. So
no, but you really are feel like. I mean, there are times where sometimes I see a headline and I go to the blog and it's not there, and I'm like. Like that drives me crazy. And a lot of times you'll be the or I'll see a tweet from the main account that interests me and I click on it and you're the one who wrote it. Like more often than not, that's what happens. So you've
that's why, I mean, honestly, it's why I started like writing over COVID. I mean, you guys all
Is that really like you never did any sort of like did you know you could write at all until then?
No, man, not like to the extent where I actually had confidence, and it kind of sucks because I'm like, what if? Like, what if I was fucking doing this shit back when it was me and Neil in Chicago? Not like I would fucking be on Big Cat's level or your level, but might have fucking, you know.
Yeah, it's just a lot more years under your belt.
I
was gonna say you. I mean, at the same time though. I mean, I remember like, I remember being like, oh, he's just like the Blackout Tour DJ, and then learning that you like own clubs all over the country or some shit. I was like, oh, wait a minute, you're like a real human.
Yeah,
because you know that Blackout Tour was not humans. That was you were just all creatures. They were all morons and creatures. And then I was like, oh, you're like a
were
nightlife.
At more than you care to admit. I think
made a few appearances.
Anytime we were in Manhattan,
I was there.
Was a few times a year.
Irving Plaza, Roseland Ballroom, Paramount Theater. I was there.
You were in the fucking green rooms every show.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
We did it. I remember the Mayhem show we did in Long Island. You were there.
That was also my fault.
You jinxed the shit out of that one.
What did I do?
Dude, you remember you showed up in your blue onesie? I still have that picture.
That was when the what were those things called?
Dude,
they had just gone viral. It was like what was it called? It was a famous
Snuggie?
Yes, Snuggies had just gone viral, so I got a Snuggie and I showed up in that. There's one picture of me.
I remember that.
It's super awkward because I'm like it's not like a posed picture. I was like walking, so I'm like my arms are all weird and it's me in the Snuggie. But what did I say?
We showed up at this place and it was like brand new, basically.
Yeah.
This theater. It was in a beautiful like neighborhood,
like Main Street, Pleasantville.
Yes, Pleasantville.
It was the Paramount. Yeah,
and we were in the green room, and it was like the first nice green room we'd ever been in.
Yeah,
showers,
yes,
bathrooms that were clean, catering spread, and you were like, yo, this is way too fucking nice for us. Like, this place has...
We don't deserve this.
You were like, this place has no fucking clue what's about to hit it tonight. And sure enough, they had no fucking clue. They had like 4 security guards. We were like, guys, I remember Gaz was like, guys, I don't think we're covered on security. And they were like, please, we had like Rick Springfield here the other night or something like that. We were like, that was nuts. And we were like, yeah, this is going to be a little crazier.
That was also the beginning, I think, of like when the Blackout Tour started to become like this.
But dude, I don't know. That was the show, though, that they got so fucking scared. They pulled the fire alarm on themselves.
Well, and
I
then...
remember looking out, like, I walked out onto like a
Wait. That's what happened?
Yeah. They pulled the fire alarm. Like, I played for 15 minutes. And
the
then
club did?
Yeah.
Because I remember also...
To evacuate everybody, and then all these kids fucked up, poured out onto the streets.
Yes.
And were puking in flower beds.
That's when I think that was what set it all off.
They found 2 kids fucking in the dumpster in Pleasantville. And the fucking paper the next day was like,
Mayhem
worst
across
thing
the
to ever hit our city.
I remember I walked out onto a fire escape and I just watched the carnage. And it was for real, like watching like World War Z from the top of a building. Yeah. Like it was just like bodies strewn. Like they had, I think the extent of their security was like 4 bike racks. People were just like carrying those, throwing them through cars. It was fucking
I remember
nuts.
there was something with the fire alarm, and we had like big balloons and like balls on a net above, right? And I think it was supposed to be like for the finale almost. At the end, you cut the ropes and they all fall, and people knock them in the air. And I think there was
our boy Walsh, man, that operation.
Well, I remember
the balloon drop guy. Shout out Walsh.
When shit started to go south, the crowd got restless, and I remember we just started throwing out T-shirts and just trying to keep them occupied. And I was like, just fucking cut the ropes, let them play with the fucking balls. And then apparently that had something to do with the fire
hit up
alarm
some
too.
sensors or something.
Yeah, because if something like up was like hitting the ceiling, the sprinklers or the alarms thought that it was smoke or whatever it was. So I was like, just fucking give them the balls. And then because the balls kept going up, the alarm wouldn't shut off. It would stop, and then somebody would hit it and it would go back off again. I was like, that was Zolo's idea. I didn't tell him
I
to
just
do that.
remember watching the news, and they had like the young beat reporter out there, and people. That whole street was all these nice like mom and pop restaurants, and they fucking flooded the kids out on the streets while people were like in the middle of dinner.
Yeah.
And people were like, we were eating dinner, and then it was all these kids in neon. All these kids in neon throwing stuff and puking.
Everyone was just screaming, all I do is fucking party.
Now, I guess it would have been a little bit later at night, so maybe it would have been a little more acceptable. But that was always going to happen.
But
at some point, that crowd was going to leave.
But I just remember, like, Paul and Zolos, everyone was like, fucking KFC. Like, don't ever come to another fucking
That was
show
a big
again.
time mush. That was a big time mush.
Big time mush.
That was, and then like my favorite thing ever was when the Blackout tour really turned into like, this is a ecstasy murder party, and the Roseland Ballroom like shut down, like canceled the event or whatever. And at the time, I think it was Greg Kelly. Somebody Kelly was the police commissioner, and he had to do like a press conference, and they were like, do you think that your like security task force is like capable of handling this? And he was like, of handling the dance party? Yeah,
I remember 9/11, right?
I think we can do that. I think we'll be good. And then they would show footage that were like the news would be like, look at like the carnage that ensues, and it was like somebody knocked over like one of the barricades outside. It was like, or like one person hopped over a barricade. That was it. It was crazy.
Dude, they didn't serve alcohol.
Yeah,
We had to smuggle our own into the green room.
I remember smuggling it in with Caitlin at the time. She had nips all over her outfit and everything.
Dude, that fucking place.
I think she had nips down her shoulder.
That place has had like insane clown posse to like
Yeah.
the Rolling Stones there. And they were like, yeah, we've never had a
can't
show
handle
where
this.
We couldn't serve alcohol before.
The Rolling Stones showed up with the Hell's Angels as their security guards, and they were like, yeah, we'll have a party here.
Dude, that's that. I don't know that. I was talking with Dave about KO Barstool in general too. Like, we never were the renegade pirate ship until they started coming after us. And I don't know if the Blackout tour, it probably in the long run did harm, because like it just eventually we had to stop. But I think at some point it was a good thing, because people were like, yo, we got to check this out. And then when it was just like an EDM party, I'm sure they were like, whatever, it sold tickets. Like, I mean, it was crazy, but it wasn't like dangerous the way
There were also, like John remembers, there were also so many other moments that if Dave were around,
oh man,
that they could have, I mean, he would have just, it would have just fueled the fire. Like, we were in South Carolina one time, and Bible thumpers were protesting us, calling us like the sane party, and like, do you remember that?
Not really.
I mean, bro, it really
News
was
out. It was like church people, and that like kind of sucked because it wasn't
was a
like little like fucking feminist weirdos. It was like people. You're like, yeah, it's kind of like my aunt, like over there.
I mean, it was not like
signs.
dangerous, but it was wild. I mean, it was a wild party. It was like, you know, It was people getting jerked off in the foam and fucking tits were out. Girls shaking their ass on stage. And it was really like the last one. You know what I mean? I'm sure EDC and Ultra and all that shit are like the big ones are still doing it, but.
Please, they went corporate. We never went corporate.
Yeah, I was gonna say we stayed pretty fucking grimy. Dante shot people in the face.
Yeah. I always, not always, but it crosses my mind pretty often. Like, what if somebody tried to do that today, and it just wouldn't. It would never be possible.
If you watch just the fucking hype videos that we made,
it would never be possible.
You couldn't even post the trailer.
I know.
The sizzle. I mean, they were. I remember looking back at it and I was like.
Dude,
damn, I need a minute alone.
We were doing at the XL Center in at UConn.
Yeah.
Which was where I later that night betted a woman who was the first person to ever call me daddy.
She was the first person to call anybody daddy.
I was like, what the fuck was that all about?
The first one, bro.
You gotta watch that, sweetheart.
Have you ever heard of anybody prior to that saying daddy?
Dude,
that was what, like 2011?
Yeah.
No chicks were calling anybody daddy. Yeah, in 2011.
Daddy. I was like, chill out, Alexander Cooper. We I remember we did the XL Center, and I remember I was sitting with Dave before that, and it wasn't like an active thing, but I just felt the energy in the room where I was like, we are both praying somebody doesn't die tonight.
Yeah.
Like almost like, you ever seen like the backstage Beyonce, everyone holding hands and praying? It wasn't the active thing show. Because we were interfaith, but it was just like, I hope someone doesn't drown in foam tonight. Like, I just really hope it doesn't happen.
The story about the foam guy just blasting people like in their mouth.
Do you remember when they would Zamboni? I remember in Delaware watching them Zamboni it up and just waiting for it to run over a body. Because it was so like deep. I was like, there's got to be a body in there.
I mean, there was piss, there was cum. That foam had it all, man.
I remember when we were wrapping up year 4, which is fucking mind-boggling. That we did that thing for 4 years.
4 years.
We were wrapping up in Myrtle Beach, and I remember we were all like joking around but serious. Like, can you guys believe no one ever fucking died at any of these shows? We were like, it's fucking dead serious.
We like realistically, like for 4 years of a chaotic, crazy party. Like, what, 3 injuries? Like, someone broke a leg, and that was, like, some shit, like, I don't know, man, if I went to a venue and I slipped at, like, I wouldn't fucking sue the place for breaking my leg. If I slipped,
that's
I don't know.
shitty luck.
That's what happened.
I probably would sue if the DJ shot me in the face with a cork. Probably would do that.
Fucking Dave, maddest Dave.
I'm sure. Honestly,
like, Dave,
as much as you...
Do you think we should get that insurance Mr. Feitelberg suggested? Fucking paying insurance. Fuck do we need insurance for? Don't shoot fucking people in the face with confetti blasters. Like,
that probably unfortunately sealed your like relationship with Dave. It was just always going to be that way after that.
Dude, I remember the whole fucking first like 2 years being like, hey man, this thing's like starting to make some money. Can I start getting paid? Dude, do you know how in the red I am? As soon as I'm in the black, I'll take care of you. I promise. Okay, year 3. We're selling like 8,000 tickets to a show.
I was gonna say he was making like $250,000 a night at one point.
I'm advancing these shows. I know what the numbers are. Can I start getting paid now? Yeah, when I stop getting lawsuits for you shooting kids in the face, blah, blah, blah. He just always had something.
Yeah. Like, yo, you also, because there was the big, I could put anybody in there. You know, anybody can just press play. And I will say 2 things. One, that I think it was probably the original. I don't know what number. Maybe it was 1. Maybe it was like 10. The original like Dante mega mix with the all we do is fucking party like blend was legendary. And it might have been a mistake, but when you were blacked out at Mad River Philly and you played Mincy's in Paris 8 times in a row, and like the next day Kanye did that at the Watch the Throne tour. They played it like 10 times in a row, and I was like, Dante did that last night. My
Dave
favorite
was
thing
about it, and then Jay-Z was like, I'm gonna do that.
Bro, that night we were at Mad River Philly, and Dave was like, it's on. He played it again. It's on again. Like, we just heard this 3 times. He played it again. And you were on that night. I think you were just ripping Patron like nonstop.
That place was a black hole.
Oh man,
I meet people from Philly all the time, and we'll just be like, "Hey, do you ever fucking go to Mad River and Manioc?" Oh my god, like.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody
there's a
has
Mad
stories.
River in New York as well, and it's
But
like a
no place has stories like that place.
Yeah, I mean that was so funny though.
And they're like, "Wait, did you ever play there?" I'm like, "Yeah, we did like a Blackout show there when we weren't really."
Dude, and then we
Blackout
had
tour?
the Villanova Smokes were there.
Yeah.
Casey McDonald and her blonde friend who were like the most gorgeous girls the world had ever seen at that point. It was like pre-Instagram, and it was just like there are normal girls who look like this.
And those guys were, to their credit, they were like so on the Barstool train before
yeah, big time.
we were anything.
Big time.
They took such good care of us.
Mm-hmm.
We threw the best fucking parties there. But yeah, I remember Dave was so pissed.
Like I could pay anyone to do this, but then like
It was the best party ever, and all he fucking was focused on was like, "You're so fucked up. You played the same fucking song like 10 times." Oh,
that week, I swear to God, it was like every
DJ
at
ever.
MSG,
like
They
every
did it at
fucking
MSG.
blog. It was like Hot New Hip Hop and Dad Piff. All these websites be like, Kanye played it 8 times in a row. It was the coolest move ever.
That was so great.
Fucking trendsetter.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it is so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. But when we spend all of our time giving, because we're all givers here at KFC Radio, it can leave us feeling stretched, thin, and burned out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. I've said before, and I'll say it again, that is something that my therapist tells me. What she says is I'm balancing too many dishes, and I'm going to drop and break all of them. I am a great balancer, however. Nonetheless, you take advice from your therapist and you talk it out. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime at no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/KFC to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KFC.
But yo, what an era for music! Like if you
It
were to
makes
do the
me
Blackout
sad,
tour
man.
now, you would probably just have to still play that same music, right?
Sucks, man.
What
I'm
would you
like-
play? Tell me honestly, as someone who's like, I feel like you're musically well rounded. Even like if you did like the EDM parties and shit, but like all music. I don't think it's like old man yelling at the cloud to say it's worse now.
Oh, it's so much
Like
worse.
there's a tangible difference in music, and I know every generation is always going to say that about their music. But whether it's like the TikTok thing where songs are just made for like 1 minute and 57 seconds, and you got to have your TikTok moment, or whether it's that we're just pulling people out of obscurity and they're not really talented, whatever it is, if you look at the era of like 2000 to like right around the Blackout tour, that 10-12 year period and the 10 or 12 year period after it, it's night and day. There were hits after hits, classic album after album. You look at like 1 year and there'll be like a Jay-Z album and a DMX album and a Miley Cyrus album. Like, everybody has classics. And now it's like, I know I might be the old man, but I don't think it's the same.
It's 100% not. And it sucks. As like someone who, I'm definitely not DJing like I used to. Part of it's fucking age and gray hair, and I can't stay up till 4 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know how you did it as long as you did do it, dude.
Yeah, me neither. Like after that break of COVID, and then trying to do, some bigger shows again, and like looking at my watch and being like, oh my god, it's fucking 1 a.m. I still got 3 hours.
That's
like,
crazy.
how the fuck did I do this?
particularly for someone who can't drink Red Bull and shit. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Dude, I used to have no problem. I think I was just so fucking used to it. And then getting into like a normal person's routine and then trying to do that again, it was just not happening.
Possible, yeah.
So I do like Vegas and like big shows now and then.
So what do you play? Old shit? Or do you play? Are you playing like
There's
Ice Spice and shit?
some good current stuff, but like it's just so much trash, like you said, and it's so much about like.
But what happened? Did
What-
like producers in the game change? Did
I think-
A&Rs change? Did
I think
labels,
it's a lot.
like-
I think obviously everything moves in waves and phases, and I think sadly we were in like such a golden era of
didn't
hip
even
hop,
realize it.
and that started to transition, and it was such perfect timing with the golden age of dance music and
Yeah,
EDM
yeah.
coming on, where they kind of like seamlessly transition. So you and I, that era of hip hop will never
It'll
see
never happen
anything like
again.
that again.
Yeah.
And it was because like it just hit the sweet spot with the artists,
It was still relatively new when you think about it.
the teams that everyone had. There was like kind of a rivalry, but it wasn't like, dangerous
Right.
anymore. And it was fun. Like
Yeah.
hip hop was fucking just fun back then. Guys were putting out songs, even girls were putting out songs that like with the objective of like making people dance
party,
or bob
yeah,
their head.
yeah.
Now it's just like flexing and
Well, do you think there's a shift in that? Do you think that? And I'm glad you used the word flexing, because almost there was a shift in like nightclub culture too, where it used to be like everyone wants to go dance, to everyone wants to go sit in a booth and flex and be like,
Just look at my.
They don't like. Do you think that is kind of a chicken or the egg thing? Like, do you think it was people wanted to be in a booth first, so they made music that doesn't really dance, or do you think people made music that isn't really dance music, so they just went to booths?
it's cell phones, to be honest. It's the fucking advent of phones and just everybody, like you said,
Just, like,
at a
sitting
table, taking pictures of their bottles,
rather than like
videos
let's
of their
just dance and
bottles,
shit.
selfies of like
Well, it is.
rapping
It's
two
objectively
songs.
gay to dance. You know what I mean? like dancing. Was always. It's like, dude, I don't dance. Lean back type shit. But it's like, when good DJs and good songs, like people. If it's not
it's even-
dancing, it's
even-
like, you're waving your hands, you're spraying the bottle, you're jumping. Like, you don't have to like literally be dancing, but you're like, it moves the crowd versus like.
It's basically comes down to, I think, like it's what brands think about, and then I think we've talked about how like everyone on the internet now thinks they're a brand too, and it becomes
Follow
like
the money.
it's not Instagrammable to be on the dance floor having fun.
Right.
It's Instagrammable to be in a booth, sort of
Being
be in the
cool.
floor, like,
And same thing with the song. I listened. I actually think it's actually.
put that on
I
the
guess
list.
it's a
Instagram's ruined nightclubs, or the internet ruined nightclubs.
I think it's actually a pretty good album, so I feel bad using it as an example. But Jack Harlow's new album is like actually some rap music. But we were on the road when it dropped, and I put it on, and I took a shower, and I brushed my teeth, and then the first track was on again. Like, it was so short. It was like 7 songs, and they're all like 2 minutes long.
So
I think
that's
the whole
a-
album was like 18 minutes. I was
So
like,
that's a label. That's a label thing, and that's through focus groups and studies and just
but it's
charting
like,
data.
If
These kids have no attention
but
span anymore.
But yes, you're right. But it's like, fuck that. Like any era of kids is not going to have an attention span. We just started listening to them and making music according to that, rather than being like, I don't care that you will only listen to the song for 2 minutes. I'm going to make it 4 because that means I can do 3 verses and a bridge and a chorus and a refrain. And now we're just like, what do the 12-year-old kids do? Let's do that. Of course the 12-year-olds are going to have an attention span, and they're not going to care about lyrics, and they're not going to, blah, 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 because they're dumb fucking kids.
Somewhere along the line, and I don't know where this happened, but I've noticed it the last couple of years. It became standard. Used to be what? 3 verses in a song, bridge,
couple
3
choruses, a bridge, yeah.
Now it's like 2 verses max,
And they're like 8 bars max, and that's it.
right? And it's like chorus,
Done.
bang,
Because
like,
they know they got their TikTok sounds, and that's
exactly.
it.
There's
That's
got to be the clip for TikTok,
it.
and it's in and out.
But it's like you can still do all of that and then have 2 more verses and a refrain and all. Like it's you don't lose that. But I'm sure they're just like, well, that's, you could have churned out a whole other 2-minute song in that same amount of time, use that verse for an entire different track, and we double up. But it's like, I don't know. I think that I'm sure the music industry's fine and they're not hurting, but I don't know. At some level, they have to understand it's not the
one of
same.
the craziest things to me in like the last year is that Little Uzi, "I Just Want to Rock" song. It's literally like a minute 30.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was like a song. It's
Yeah.
just like I thought it was just like I don't know, like an interlude almost. He's just, I just want to rock over and over and over again. That's it.
Dude, and that's like a top 10 song for months now.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what this generation is like into right now.
I mean, that, God bless them, and I'm sure we sound old, but I just think that like when you look at some of the lyrics of rap songs, some of the beats from producers, some of the hooks from the party people, that our era is.
If you go to a club, even a bar that has the DJ, they're still playing the same Swizz beats.
Right.
Shit like that stuff is timeless.
The Road podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Those
DJ
are my
Neva
guys.
and Jamie the Great Numb,
Yeah.
and they do residencies in Vegas, and they are like, we play all the old, like what's in vogue right now is all the old hip hop and shit, because it's like, I don't know, focus groups on that, because there's something tangible about that era, whether it's the way they did the hooks, the way they did the beats, whatever it was, that shit made people move. So it's like, I hope they don't sell out. Eventually the pendulum's got to swing, right? Like you said, things come in waves. When is it gonna? I don't know, man. Or does it just keep getting worse? Because
I don't know. The EDM thing is kind of in the same like boat. It's the same songs from that Blackout tour era are the ones that
are big,
are really setting the places off.
I mean, that era had, when you had like Guetta and Avicii and Sebastian Ingrosso or whatever. I mean, there was like 10 of them.
Dude, it was
Calvin Harris that all just put out fucking. I used to hate that. I don't say hate that, because I remember like Better Off Alone back in like the 90s. Yeah. Those songs. There was always like one or two Venga Boys. Like there was one or two dance hits that I was like, those are cool. But I was never like a house music club guy. And then even I was like, these are all fucking bangers.
I think what you're like describing is like what the issue is basically with anything in any industry. We talked about an article I read a while ago, how Moneyball ruined American culture because it gave someone the power to go, look, here's the data. So like, well, basically in any creative field, and I know you've dealt with this at Barstool and you've dealt with it in other places, where it's like, once you get big enough, you're a creative trying to fight with someone who's just trying to save their job. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to get fired, and someone can point to the data and be like, look, this is how songs get big, and that saves their job.
Versus
letting you take a risk and be like, no, this is going to be different.
Like that. I think music industry used to be about like your ear. Like Diddy had like the best ear, who would just be like, that sound is awesome. The people are going to love it. And 9 times out of 10, he was right.
Yep.
But now with data, you can be 10 times out of 10 right. So you don't even have to have your ear for it. You don't even have to have a feel for it.
Could not agree
more. So
more.
it's just numbers.
Melissa McCarthy had said that, where like that it's like you saw always Hollywood used to always complain about the suits and like they're such a pain in the ass. It's like, and they were, but you could get a suit in a room who was like, I think this is a good idea. You can't have that argument with the data anymore. Where it's like, well,
you can't talk to an algorithm.
Right,
you can't talk.
Well,
to
this
a
is what it
computer.
says. Like, I don't care what it says. This is interesting. This is unique. This is different.
And also, eventually, like, you got to do something. I don't know. It's got to be somebody takes a risk, or is like, I don't care what the data says, and then that movie wins an Oscar or that album wins a Grammy, and somebody goes, oh wait a minute. Not everything does need to be a 2-minute TikTok video. It can be a real song again, or a real movie again, or whatever.
The people like trying to. We talked about this recently when we were up with the Camp CEO people. Where it's like when you get to that level and you're dealing with those people who are just trying to save their jobs rather than create something cool. They're always pivoting, and it's always like, well, this is what we're doing now. Let's pivot. And you kind of said it with the waves, where it's like it's better to just try and do a little bit of it rather than
stay the
do a
course.
full pivot, because that's what Fox Sports did when they fired every writer, because they were like, we're pivoting to video. And then it turned out that all those algorithms were wrong and all those algorithms were fugazi. And say, well, maybe let's not just do these hard pivots all the fucking time.
Right.
Let's try and do something unique while also giving that it's the attention it deserves.
Right.
But also like staying true to ourselves and
change the sound a little bit, push the genre, but you don't need to like completely abandon rap music.
Because it happened in sports where everyone's just focused on the sabermetrics, and hockey was with the Corsi and shit like that. And then it was like, well, it still has to pass an eye test. Like, you're right that, yes, he's got a great Corsi right now. But, like, when I watch him, he never catches my eye.
Impress.
I'm never like, oh, I noticed Blake was on the ice.
Yeah.
Like, it is. And I think that everything kind of corrects back a little bit.
So the eye test is a great point you bring up. And you guys, this is a great question to ask you guys, because you guys are like the opposite of Chicken Little Like, I feel like you guys never think the world is ending and things aren't as bad as people make them seem. But what do you think about this whole AI revolution? And not just with music. I think music's fucked.
Music might be in trouble.
Right.
I think the best way when any of those things start, the best way to handle it is rather than fight it, be like, how can I use it? Because it's not going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the people have the technology in their hands, and maybe there'll be some legislation and litigation against people using it. But for the most part, like, if Drake called up that Ghostwriter 77 dude and said, like, let's make a video, maybe making a whole song together is a bit much, but let's make a video for social media and let me, like, lean into this a little bit. That would have been, at the very least, you would have had a viral video to your advantage.
That's a really good idea.
You know? And I remember when we, Matty Fun Times was his name. He was this guy who used to make Mike Francesa photoshops. He would put his face on the Pope and all these things. When I used to blog about Francesa a lot, I would always use them, and he put the worst watermarks on them. Ruined the picture. So I used to crop the watermark out, which is a dickhead move, but whatever. And he got, like, so mad and, you know, threatened to, like, sue me and all this shit, and we kind of had a back and forth. And I remember him saying, like, if you had just said to me, like, yo, man, I put some work into that, like, you cropped out my watermark that's fucked up, like, can you give me a shout out or put it back in or whatever, I probably would have done it, and I probably would have, like, not hired you but paid you for it if you were like, hey, and by the way, I can do photoshops for New York sports and for because at that point in the blog world, having, like, Millmore type photoshops were, like, invaluable. I was like, you probably could have got, like, a job out of this, but instead you were a dickhead about it, so now fuck you. So I think it's always better to lean into whatever you think is threatening you and just try to figure out a way to like, use it. Like, it's not easy enough for, like, dummies like us yet, but I think the minute that I can just, like, do some AI shit on my phone and we can, like, make a podcast out of it or something, like, that'll be, you know, a KFC Radio AI video, AI podcast. I'll put it out and see what it does. Like, get a bunch of downloads from it. Try to fucking, you know, get views off of it, because it's not gonna stop. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna stop. I have a. I don't want to say I'm a contrarian, because I'm not. But the internet, everything is always such an overreaction. And I'm always like, well, it's not. You're not going to think that way in 3 months. So, like, I don't want to jump on it. Like, I'm sure things will change a little bit, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's chaos. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's like when you talk about music in particular. If you're like, I've said this to Kevin a bunch of times, so he's probably like, we know, John. But it's like when, like, I don't know, if you showed me an AI song, I'd be like, oh, it's a pretty good song. And then you were like, AI wrote it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't really care anymore. Because I think, like,
but I do think you might, I don't know about the minority. I don't know if you're the minority on that one, because I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But I do think there's probably people who don't. I think there are people who are just like there are people who don't know who writes the songs or what the lyrics mean. And they're just like, I just like the sound, you know?
So this is crazy, because we're all same wavelength right here. I've posed this question on our music podcast to and this is like over the past month, but I've had this same exact scenario where it's kind of like a, not chicken versus egg, but just one of those things. So say you're on Spotify and your Spotify for you's suggesting songs. You hear this song you've never heard before and it's fucking awesome. Holy shit, who is this? You click the band name, never heard of these guys before. Go to their page, listen to 6 more songs, and 4 of them are just as good. Like, holy shit. You send it to your friend group. Guys, check this band out I just discovered. They're fucking awesome. Listen to these songs. Your friends listen to them. A bunch of them like them too. You think you discovered this hot new band.
Which I was going to say, by the way, is the best thing in the world. When you discover the new music, you're the man, right?
You're the man.
Yeah.
One of your buddies fires back, I just looked this up. This is a robot group, this Universal Music just put out, and blah, blah, blah. Does that no longer make the music good? Are you like, fuck?
To me, yeah.
I think
or are you like, fuck it, good music is good music?
I wouldn't like, if the song came on in the car again in the future, I wouldn't lunge from the backseat and change the song. I'd be like, whatever. But I wouldn't seek it out anymore. Because, like, I think with with music, with TV, with movies, with like what we're all trying to do is see ourselves in it a little bit. And when you're like, oh, a fucking machine wrote that, there's like relatability is the biggest thing of all time. And like no longer am I like, oh, like I feel what that person felt. I've gone through what that person went through. I'm just like, oh, this is like a fucking robot algorithm made for me. Like I'm like almost, I don't want to say insulted by it, but I'm like, fuck them for thinking I'd care about this.
Yeah. Well, with music, I mean, did the music world go through the same thing when like electronic music started?
Oh, big time.
Like when people were like, you know, I have the little beat machine. People didn't like respect that as an instrument.
It went from, there was a huge transition. It was almost like revolution or industrial revolution when things went from analog to digital.
Right.
So all these,
because then you're like, oh, a computer's making the song. It's not an instrument.
Exactly. There
was like, I don't know,
were all these producers, there were all these artists that were like, this is cheating.
Right.
It's not. It's not.
This is a little bit more extreme,
now it's the norm.
Right. Now everybody does it.
Now every studio you go in, it's all computers.
If you were a DJ who was using digital and you were blending other people's verses with other people's beats, I'm sure there were people who were like, that's not a real song. You're just stealing and cheating. But we accepted that, you know.
Well, I think that's different than the lyrics and the story.
Exactly. Yeah. It still has a human element because up until now, humans were still writing. I mean, you can literally go to some of these fucking ChatGPT type things and put in like, write me a song about so and so, so and so, and so and so, like Luke Combs, and it'll suck. But it'll fucking put something out for you.
It's a pretty important word to use there.
which is but it's gonna get better though. That's what's scary. This is the very first iteration. So like, I mean, when that Drake song came out, the Drake song with The Weeknd, people were like, "This is better than the real Drake song he put out."
Exactly.
What do you do when that happens?
And I'm with John. I'm like, if this doesn't have like the human touch to it, like it doesn't do it for me. But I'm afraid like these kids today, they don't fucking know the difference. They don't give a shit.
What's to me like I'm very my standards for like rap are very high. My standards for pop are like whatever. The beat's good and you have a catchy hook, I'll listen to it. So like to me, it's like I don't know when they used to make a boy band by just grabbing a bunch of 15-year-old boys and throwing them together. They don't write the music. They don't write the lyrics. We just use their face and their falsetto voice. To me, that's almost just as much of a bastardizing of music as anything, you know. But I think if it was just a party song, I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna like listen to the lyrics and be like, "Wow," you know. What I mean? I guess with rap, like a punchline, I might, but like a Taylor Swift song. If I know a computer is saying it, it's like this means nothing.
You can trick me into thinking the song's good, but then once you tell me it wasn't, I'm like, okay, like I'm not going to seek it out anymore.
And you're not going to like love the band and buy their merch, and you know that's also how you make money, right? And touring and merch and shit like that. No one can't do that for a fake, you know.
But also,
so there is a limit, I think.
You know a lot more about this than me, so you can definitely correct me. But like, I don't understand how it'll alter like the creation of music. But when people are like, Drake's gonna be out of a job, like, well, it can't go on Spotify. Like, you can't put a Drake song on Spotify, or I guess you can, but then Spotify's like, wait, it's not them. They'll take it off. So like, musicians are still gonna have jobs. Yeah. It's like when Jay Farrow first started doing rap, or Ari Spears, like. Oh, Jay-Z's out of a job.
Right.
Ari Spears can do his voice.
Yeah, there is a level of like people have been doing impersonations and impressions and
there was
jacking
a while
styles for a long time.
With Apple where like I forget who it might have been it was Titanium. Titanium wasn't on Apple. And they just had like a cover person do the music. And it was like
nobody wanted to listen to it.
It was like this isn't Titanium. This is
not the song. Like, yeah, that's fucking
it's
trash.
Not Titanium.
I don't know. I don't know where it goes. I do think though, like you could probably have your AI on like SoundCloud, something that's not like regulated as much, right? And if it's like, I don't know if Timbaland put that Biggie verse over a Timbaland beat the other day, like I kind of wanted to hear that.
Same.
Like
I was the same way.
And my first, there are some people whose gut reaction is like, this is wrong, this is impure or something, and I'm just kind of like, I kind of want to hear it, And
that's
it's like
how I was with the New York State of Mind. Like
that was incredible.
I was like,
that was so cool. I'm like, this is, everything. It's the new version of like when you took a Tupac verse and put it on a Biggie beat, and now it's like, but now you can just do it with new lyrics that sound like the guy. So I don't know. I think that some variation of this has always existed. This is probably a little bit like faster and more extreme, but.
I think also the internet plays such a big part in things now because there's so much groupthink and mass hysteria that when people are like, it's over! Like, everyone's like, I don't know, man. It's been, like the one I always reference is, like, when people were like, AI did fucking NFL mascots. And it's like, these all suck.
Yeah, those were trash.
Like,
so bad.
They're all the same thing, and they all suck. Yeah, I'm not pretending, like, it's not going to matter and it's not going to be a thing, but, like, just like anything in society, everyone will overreact for a little while, and then it'll not overcorrect, but it'll come back to earth and be like, yep, now this is a part of something we do, but it's not defining, it's not life changing. It'll be like, all right, here, this makes this a little easier. This makes this a little easier.
I think what needs to happen is something you've said before where, and it might be happening a little bit, like sometimes my kids are mad if I have my phone out, I'm taking a video of them and shit. They're like, put it away. When the first generation of people who are like, it's lame to do AI, to use technology, all that, but I don't know if that happens because it's so convenient and you can make money, like everything, it's just better. But if there's one generation that's like, we're going back to like, we're not on social media, we don't spend all day in front of a screen, it would probably take some like post-apocalyptic movie type shit for that to happen. But that's the only way I see it, like going backwards. It might like pendulum swings a little bit, but I don't know if it'll ever just like stop and go all the way back.
I don't think it'll be mass, but there is like,
cool kids or something.
I've always said like that you're like, what your parents do is inherently lame because they're your parents.
Yeah.
And like the more online my parents get, the more offline I get. And I think that might translate like at some point to younger kids. But when I'm like, I see like an older person scrolling. It's actually when I was in middle school, I became a snowboarder. I was like skiing my whole life, and then I became a snowboarder. And then I was at the mountain one day, and I saw like a really old person snowboarding. And I was like, fuck that. I'm going back to skiing. And I became a skier again. And I think I'm kind of doing it. And so maybe I'm trying to project it.
Well, it's like fashion too. It's like, skinny jeans, baggy jeans, like all that shit.
You're like that with everything.
Yeah.
Father's Day is right around the corner, and you know what your dad wants? He wants beef. He wants meat. He wants all that good stuff, and you can get it at Omaha Steaks. Don't get him socks, don't get him belts, don't get him ties. No one even wears that stuff anymore. Just get him meat so he can work the grill, grab the tongs, make his tong jokes, snap them all the time. That's what dads love. That's all they want to do. So go to Omaha Steaks. You can get packages that include fork tender, bacon wrapped filet mignons. They are delicious. I got a freezer full of them right now. Other gourmet grillables like the air chilled boneless chicken breast, burgers, jumbo franks, and many more favorites. Don't forget to save room for dessert because they got the apple tartlets, the caramel apple tartlets from Omaha Steaks. They make any barbecue complete. Not only are their steaks naturally aged for the ultimate tenderness, juiciness, and flavor, but Omaha Steaks is 5 generations of family-owned expertise. This means uncompromising quality you can trust. This Father's Day, show him the love with the only gift that's as unforgettable as he is. That mouth-watering perfection of Omaha Steaks. Order today and get $30 off with promo code KFC. Every purchase is backed by their unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. Minimum order may be required. See site for details. Again, that is $30 off with promo code KFC.
You guys weren't like technically pioneers of podcasts, but you were very early to platform. And how have like you guys have sustained not just the longevity, but your audience? You've continued to grow it. You've evolved, but you haven't pivoted hard, like you said.
Yeah.
How is that like all gone? Especially like I can only imagine when this surge happened where it's just so saturated. Fucking everybody in the world has one. I mean, we were just talking about Cameron, who he's one of the good ones to come along in a while, but there's been so many other people with that kind of clout who just all of a sudden launch one.
Podcast, yeah.
And it's like they cut so many corners. And
yeah, I mean, I always joke whenever we interview like a really famous person who starts a podcast, I'm like, fuck you. Because I remember Whitney Cummings' first podcast, Dave Grohl. on the show. You know, and it's like that was her first. That's her first friend that she can call up, her first favor. You know, and I was like, fuck you. You're already rich and successful and talented, and now you got to do my lane. This is supposed to be for the idiots who can, you know, can't make it all the way. But I think I would be much more threatened if you're a podcast that's like doing a bit or doing a, you know, kind of like a little theme to it or something like that. Like, nobody can do what we do. You can do similar, but like, if you like me and him, you got to come here for it.
Right.
It's our personal stories. It's our personal takes. You can get two white guys, you know, mediocre, funny, telling jokes, but if you just like us. So I was always like, I don't know, let everybody do it. It actually was a good thing. It made podcasting like everybody's spending money on podcasting now. So I always thought it was a good thing. But if I was like, I'm doing like a sports gimmick, and then people who were bigger, funnier, and better came along doing a sports gimmick, I'd be like, fuck. But I don't think anybody can do what we do. So I think it's actually, let's make it as much as popular as possible, you know?
I think it's actually funny. You're asking like a lot of the same questions we had with the Camp CEO people, but I think it's like just organic and like we were just saying with like the pivoting, like we never pivot. Like TikTok's way bigger. Like
we pivoted off of writing. Like, we were all bloggers, and we were basically
true,
you know, done
true,
with
true,
that.
true.
That was that was a slow. Like, we weren't just like doink.
I never was like, I'm done writing.
Right.
It's just
It
like
just
this
kinda
got too
happened.
busy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it wasn't like I'm stopping writing. It was just like we got too much other stuff to do. And writing is a lot harder than people think it is. Where you need like a full day to sit down and blog.
Yeah.
And when you have even just little things throughout the day, it's like I don't have time to sit here and blog. But
everything else, you're right. It's not a pivot. It's just been like a little.
It's like we've never gone like and much of this is to our detriment, but I think it keeps us at least like real. Where like it's never like, oh, TikTok's good, we're only doing clips, and it's like, well, no. Sometimes we'll think of a segment that might make a better clip, but like we're never changing completely what we do in order to fit that. Again, it's probably to our detriment.
Well, I think it's a little bit tortoise in the hair. I think there were definitely times where I was like, we're missing out, and I wish that I was bigger on TikTok. I wish I was more focused on this thing, that thing, the other thing. And then like that shit falls off, and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of happy I stayed the course. And I think just within the last like couple years, I think I was like, we did it right. And like, we have all these guests, everybody respects us. I think we put in our time. And had we just become like TikTok sellouts, maybe we wouldn't have got there, you know? But there were definitely times where I was like, fuck, like we missed that boat. We missed this boat. We keep missing the boats. Like, let's not miss the boats. And then, you know what? I remember Clubhouse. I was like, we're not missing this one. Clubhouse is good. It's audio. We can do that. Let's do Club. And then it was like,
what the
nope.
fuck happened to Clubhouse?
I actually don't know the answer to that one, but they had it for a second.
I know that was going to be like the next huge thing.
Be Real had it too, and they fucked that up too. I mean, there's
that's why you never completely change
don't
for
totally
some new thing.
Yes,
like you just
change
for
for a girl and don't change for.
But I give you guys credit for that
social
because,
media.
Like you said, it's so tempting, so easy. And
you know how much money we would make if me and him just became 2A guys? If we went right wing fucking nuts and just loved Kyle Rittenhouse, we'd be rich.
No, for real.
The example I used at that Camp CEO thing was, I remember during the 2016 election that everyone was trying to get their votes, obviously, and all that stuff. And I saw Hillary Clinton on Ellen dabbing, and everyone was making fun of her. And then Bernie Sanders went on, and he was just like, I don't do that stuff. And I was like, that's cool. Like, that's just, it's who he is. He's not
Sanders.
changed. He's on the show at least. He's doing what he can, but he's not going to be someone completely who he isn't.
Yep.
And I was just like, that's pretty cool.
We are Bernie Sanders on Ellen.
Yeah.
That's KFC Radio.
I'll try my best. I'll be here. I'm not going to do something that's just completely out of character for me. I'll come to you on your platform. I'll use your platform the way I use it.
Yep.
But I'm not going to just like fucking bend to your
dancing
will for
monkey.
everything.
Yeah.
I think you guys have like set the tone, not to like suck your dicks or anything, but you guys have like set the tone and become kind of like the template for not just a lot of the newer shows, but some of the older ones. And that, part of it's because of like your longevity and consistency, and part of it is the things you have leaned into have been home runs and like really benefited like
I
bread
think
and butter, the
we're a
shows.
good
Like,
example.
The
Like
1 Minute Man stuff
Yeah.
has been huge.
Answer
but
the Internet was a big one.
It's not like you abandoned KFC Radio for that.
Just add
it's
it.
just
I think if you're lucky and talented enough that you just like hit that, you know, you jump on a meteor and you just ride it to the top, then like go do your thing. I think we're a pretty good example of that. If you don't get that initial like right to the top, like here's how to do it and just like steadily go. So I think I'm pretty proud of doing that, but
I think that's an age thing too. I think.
Oh yeah, because you also don't care anymore.
These young bucks are like, if it's not instant,
immediate,
but you have to
it's
get
not
the
instant,
confidence to know,
immediate.
like, I'm good, and we're lucky that we have like the home base. Like we have KFC Radio. That's always gonna say, and that gives us like the freedom to maybe try something else a little bit, and that doesn't work. We
perfect
come back.
example. Who's the example I always use that like if you wait around long enough, you'll just like. There was somebody who like got a job, a movie or an exec or something where it was just like he's lasted 20 fucking years. And I think at one point he was like the butt of a joke, and I never would have thought of him as like being, but it was just like, if you've lasted this long, you probably have the right perspective, you have the right people, you know not to like jump on trends, whatever it is. And it's just like, if you can just last long enough, somebody will
try to remember who that is, because that would be a very good,
I remember being like, this guy is the exact example where it was just like, you know, if you have the grittiness to like, the internet like beat him down and he didn't fold, and you know his first thing fell apart, but he had a second thing, and then eventually someone's gonna be like, here's money, you know, like we'll do this project with you because like we know, you know, you have the longevity, but you do gotta wait, you know, fucking 5, 10, 15 years, and a lot of people can't do that.
We were lucky with age too. We're like, it was
perfect.
We were young enough.
We got very lucky.
It was just like a fun, goofy thing, and then it got like to be our job. And when we were old enough to have the confidence to be like, I'm not gonna try some fucking ridiculous thing that is completely out of character and make myself look like an asshole.
So we're not gonna dance on TikTok. I mean, to like mouth.
We did dance a few times.
We did, and they were terrible.
And then we were like, we're not doing this fucking bullshit anymore.
But if there's a
sucks for a social media manager, like,
but she learned like what we can and can't do. You know, so if there's a trend where it's like, the sound from Always Sunny is going viral. Like, just mouth the words from Always Sunny. I can do that, but I'm not gonna fucking do the Renegade. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not gonna happen. So you can't ever like stray too far from what you're doing. But I mean, I think you've been doing a great job of transitioning into content as far as like the blogging, the music. Like, you know music. Like, everybody trusts that like your opinion on that is a sound one, and then you use that. It's like, and by the way, let me, you know, rant about Lori Lightfoot for an hour. You know,
she's gone, man.
You won.
Dude,
you
by the way,
her.
Speaking of Chicago, before we let you go, because I have to piss like a racehorse. The Monday, the weekend you got jumped. Weekend you got fucking your nose job. This
is all a ruse to get a nose job.
The Monday episode was Nick Tarani, and Nick was talking about the move to Chicago, and I was telling a story about how I was in Chicago. I was like, everyone in Chicago is a fucking pussy. I was out with the dinner with Dante and was walking home to the hotel last summer, and he's like, dude, I wouldn't walk home. It's too dangerous. I was like, he's such a bitch. No one gets fucking jumped. They cut it. They didn't tell me, but they cut it. They cut it out of the episode. I didn't know they cut it.
No! You gotta find this.
And then everything is just like political manifestos and, you know, launching attacks against Lori Lightfoot. And he's a complex man. But he is. He wears many hats. Don't judge a book.
We were in Chicago, and I met him out, not at his bar, not at Uproar, at, I forget the name of the bar next door, but it's one of Dan's and his buddies' bars. And we were watching Celtics playoff game, I think. And the game had started at like 6 because it's Central Time. And so it ended at like 9, and it was about like a mile from where we were staying on Michigan Ave. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to walk home. He's like, you're going to do what? And I was like, I'm gonna walk back to the hotel. He's like, dude, do not do that. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm in downtown Chicago. I'm walking to downtown Chicago. I'm gonna walk. And he's like, dude, do what you want to do, but
it's
like
your life, bud.
I was like, you guys. And then we were talking to the Chicago guys about it the next day. And some of them were like, that's an overstatement. Others were like, yeah, that's about right. I was like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. Like, everywhere is dangerous, but I'm in the tourist area. What are you talking about that even here I can't walk home? And I think they're overstating. I can't imagine it's that.
I haven't.
Well, we gotta find this. Are you kidding me? What was Nick saying?
I don't remember.
Dude, I gotta see the look on his face.
That's so fucking funny.
And then, like, because we recorded it before the weekend, And then the Monday episode's gonna be that me calling Dante a pussy for thinking he's gonna get jumped.
Dude, I need to see this.
Hey, it wasn't Chicago though. You're right.
Most
The main streets of
Feitelberg-
Providence.
Most Feitelberg thing ever. That's great. Ever.
It was I had forgotten about it. I think they told us on like Monday or Tuesday. Like, by the way, in case it comes up, like we clipped this part, and I think it was like crazy early.
I had seen the news like at 2 a.m. and we were about to export the podcast, and I was like, let's just be safe.
Executive decision. Yeah, pull it out.
We'll take this out. But
you know why I said fucking leave that shit.
Not mine.
Dude, I need to see this. All right, last thing, and then I'll let you go to the bathroom. Do you guys honestly not miss writing, or do you?
Very much.
Do you?
I wrote a blog last week. Every time I write a blog, I'm like, fuck, I love this.
I
Like,
very
it
much.
is-
I'm kind of the opposite though. I very much miss it, but I have some sort of big picture writer's block going on right now where I just can't get into the vibe that I used to get into. Like, it's a grind for me, but I like always.
He hasn't skipped a beat.
Yeah.
Like, the few
I-
blogs he's put out have
Oh
been
my god, the
fucking
the
awesome.
one about like the HR was so
The
fucking
upstairs
even just
email
the,
one was
it was funny,
unbelievable.
it was also just like well written, like the writing devices you were using and all that. Like I don't think you lose it, but I
yours. I watch like 90% of your Minutemans. I'm like, dude,
I just
this
should
would
just
be
write
the
it down.
best
I know,
I'm like,
I
this
know.
would be the best fucking blog if he wrote it.
I know.
I like fucking steal a bunch of, not your material, but a lot of your subjects.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
funny. I steal from you too.
No, but I grab your, like I'm in the middle of your Sauce Gardner one right now.
Oh
'Cause
my God.
it's just the saddest.
No, but I legit steal a lot of your blogs for 1 minute, man. Like I said, usually I go to the site and I'm like, oh, this will be good for it, and I click on it and it's Dante. So I mean, you got the right blog, like radar or whatever.
I miss it. I still hold out hope that all this audio and video shit's gonna tank, and
Well,
you
let's
guys
not
are
go
gonna-
that far, but I
you
do
guys
hear
are
you,
gonna-
man.
I think
You
I
guys
think
are gonna come back
you know
to
what?
the
I swear to
mind.
God, I swear to fucking God, if like when you do a podcast, you can have like 5 ads on it that are thousands of dollars each, and you can make a lot of money. If somebody said, "I'll give you whatever XYZ thousands of dollars for a blog," I would probably do it. 'Cause I definitely think it's my biggest strength. I think like writing and then audio and then video. Like what I do most of the time now is probably my least, my worst trait. But it just doesn't make sense.
It is also, and I'm sure you deal with this, but like I do want to write more, and I think I told Nate I'll do like 2 a month or something like that, and. But like
Whoa.
all I can blog.
Whoa.
Hey, dude, guess what? It's still most than 90% of the people here. I'll still probably be a top 10 blogger.
For real, dude.
Sadly.
For fucking
Sadly,
real.
But like
you're
because
not
of
joking.
our schedules and a lot of the podcasting schedules is just like I can't write about anything timely anymore. So I have to write about
And by the
something
time
that
you do-
happened to me. I can only write about
Right.
things that like
Because by the time
we
you
did.
sit down to write it, somebody else wrote it.
Right.
Yeah. It's tough, but you are one of the people keeping it afloat. So thanks for that, bro.
Thanks, fellas. Thank
The
you.
Don.
Thank you for having me on. This was
I'm
this
happy
was
you're
awesome.
happy you're in good shape, bro. Thank you. All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.